Hi, and welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Reactivate Optimus Prime and Soundwave. And once again, I'm so happy that title is so short. We have in front of us a Voyager-ish, maybe slightly bigger than a Voyager, Optimus Prime here from the Transformers Reactivate game. Obviously, that game isn't out, so this is based on some concept art. We'll have to see how close to this he ends up looking. But this is a really nice Optimus Prime. I love the shape. I love the heft. I like that, we clearly have like indications of things like his shoulders, the classic like arm transformation, that sort of thing. But there's also a lot of unique indications, like the way these panels seem to come around is different. This back piece where we've got what are going to be his feet is a little unique instead of the feet being up on here. So he's got a little bit of his own personality. There's also a lot of paint, which does help because unfortunately they did use the prototype gray plastic here, which is unfortunate. I feel like this gray plastic here could have been done in maybe a darker gray or a silvery metallic gray or something. But he does have nicely painted rims. He does have nicely painted mechanical details and stripes all across the cab. We've got the headlights are painted. The grill has like grime and dirt on it. The cowcatcher piece, which is nice. The blue is a nice dark blue. I actually really like the way that they've used their red and blue. It looks really nice. And he's got his post-apocalypse energon axe, which is kind of techy and neat. And then he's got his blaster, which we'll talk about later. But all in all, just as a cab, I mean, this rolls just fine. There is no hitch. I didn't think there's a ton of value in comparing this to other Optimus Primes. It's a G1-ish Optimus Prime. That's definitely a Voyager. But it looks good. And he looks appropriately massive next to Soundwave here. Soundwave is maybe a little more disappointing to me. I don't know that everyone else will find him as much of a bummer. But the thing I don't like about Soundwave is that he's Soundwave. This looks like it would be a great Autobot trooper, for example. Or maybe Decepticon trooper. It's like an armored vehicle. It's small. It's got Soundwave's chest on the front, which serves absolutely no purpose other than to be Soundwave's chest. This would have been just nice as like an armored hood piece or something. He's got armored windshields, which I like. I always like that. A little Mad Maxy. He's got painted tires. He rolls way better than Bumblebee does, which is nice. Little bits of red paint picking out here. But nothing about this says Soundwave other than the big Decepticon logo on a window up front. And then his weapons, which he's got a harpoon gun here and a pivoting gun that also can rotate on its handle. And then he's got like a radar dish. He's some sort of like, I guess, tech SUV or something. I like the look of this thing. It just, to me, again, doesn't seem like it's Soundwave. And because we do have all four of them now, let's get out. Here's Optimus Prime with Bumblebee. And they look awesome together. Here is Soundwave with Starscream. So, if you want to see the two like Voyagers, they are, both nice big Voyagers. The two deluxes. Soundwave is bigger than Bumblebee, which is nice to see here. And yeah, as like a foursome, I think they look really nice together. It's neat to see these kind of, reinterpretations of G1. This is still, right, in my mind, very, very G1, but just a little bit different. And just in terms of alt mode, I think my favorites are Optimus Prime, then Starscream. As much as this Soundwave rolls better than Bumblebee does, I think I prefer the Dune Buggy mode to Soundwave's SUV mode. But yeah, it's a nice looking pair of 2-packs. And let's go ahead and get rid of Bumblebee and Starscream, and we'll do transformation. Let's start with Soundwave here, because he has a pretty fun and interesting transformation. Essentially, we're gonna undo some panels. And these panels kind of compress on their own. They sit here, and you got to untab them, but they're not in the strongest position. And you saw I kind of already unplugged his legs. There's 2 slots here. There's 2 tabs here. This whole lower half just is going to swing down. We can just focus on this piece. So we're going to take These panels that we undid, we're going to fold them up temporarily just out of the way. We're going to fold in these wheels, kind of creating a solid wall of lower calf meat. Give him some calves, fold those down. The feet don't need to do anything, they just tilt. We can flip around his legs so we can see his crotch piece in the correct, his waist in the correct section. We can fold up these tires to keep them out of the way. We can come in. The forearms are pegged into the sides of the vehicle mode on either side. We can unpeg it and bring it around. And you can see this is like essentially a big backpack that we're going to fold up and away. Keeping the tires kind of up super securely in place. There we go. Pop that out. The back piece wants to collapse. And the hood and the windshield are connected by a double joint that allows us to bring this down, essentially hiding our windshield. With the chest collapse, the tires come up, and then we can fold the back piece down. And here is Soundwave. And again, we can give him his harpoon gun. We can give him his gun piece here. And I mean, he looks all right. He's got a really big backpack and a chest piece that, again, feels kind of unnecessary to be there other than to remind us, oh yeah, it's Soundwave. So for Optimus Prime, we start out, we're going to pull apart the smokestacks to give us a little bit of wiggle room. We want to take this top piece of his canopy and separate it out. With that, we can come in. The cab is connected to the frame of the truck on 2 posts up front. We are just trying to separate there. And with that, we can come in and the front of the cab and the windshields and everything, we can fold up, revealing our robot hands. And that gives us the clearance we need to fold out these arm pieces on either side, like so. With that done, the arms are on a double joint here that allows us to extend the elbow out and then rotate the whole shoulder forward. With that done, we can collapse. There is a double jointed piece of panel that folds up into a nice and solid arm here. Same thing on this side. Unfold, unfold, rotate, and collapse, and everything tabs in very nicely. Get Soundwave out of here. Then we have this cab section. And the cab section, we want to fold up these 2 panels. We want to fold down his front of the cab, which kind of gives us the classic Optimus Prime window breasts. We can come in on the back here. We're going to untab these prototype gray plastic pieces, kind of folding these up and out of the way. That lets us separate and bring about the entire chest piece, which you can see this is where his abs have been hidden this whole time. Before we do that, we want to, with the cow catcher, it's separated on its own, I think, but you separate it, and we're going to flip it up in a really satisfying manner, and then collapse the cow catcher pieces, and we can rotate the whole assembly around it, bringing the abs down to give us room so that we can close the abs over the piece, locking everything into place, hiding those tires in the back. That is really satisfying. I like that part of the transformation a lot. While here, we can flip out his head. That clips into place nicely. His back section, I think I want to do the legs before I actually do the back section. We're just going to separate the legs. The legs are nice and easy. We flip out the feet because they were around these thighs. With those feet flipped out, we can flip out these gray pieces here that kind of just cover up some robot bits. Flip out these gray pieces here, essentially just unfolding everything. And then there is, you can see a tab on this gray piece here and a slot here. We're just rotating the whole leg around on both sides to clip it into place, and then we can reclose these gray pieces, bring the feet down. These gray pieces will stay where they are. Nice and simple leg transformation. Then finally we have on the back, and this is one of those things that I always manage to mess up, even though I practiced this like 6 times off screen. Fold up this red piece, fold up this red piece, and then we want to flip No, we don't. We want to drop this section, rotate these two gray pieces in, and then there are 2 tabs on these sections. There are 2 slots on the red section that they tab in together. And then there are 2 tabs on these gray sections here and 2 gray slots here that we can bring in and close things up. And here is Optimus Prime, and he looks pretty fantastic. He's so nice and beefy. I'll say this, that he, because of how nice and beefy and chunky he is, I think he makes Starscream look a little puny by comparison. All right, this is the winner of the Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution Leader Class Dreadwing giveaway. Over on the left here, we have all the comments on our videos. On this video, if you have done one of our giveaways before, you know how it works. You leave a comment, answer the question of the day, say you want to enter the giveaway, and I go through and I give all the entries into the giveaway a heart. If you just left a nice comment, which I always appreciate, you don't get a heart. That's how I keep track of them. So over on the left are all the comments on the YouTube video for transparency, and then over on the right are all the entries, and we had a total of 47 entries, which is awesome. Appreciate everyone entering, and let's see who our winner is. Ran between 1 and 47. Our winner is, oh, did I do a typo? Oh, I totally missed a comma. All right, there it is. 1 and 47. 34. 34. Oh, 34 is NoobTube. NoobTube 4634. NoobTube said they'd like to enter, and we need a new Prime Megatron. That would be awesome. The Prime Megatron Voyager mold is like pretty fun, but getting a leader class Megatron with just a little more meat into that transformation would be really, really cool. Thanks everyone for entering, and let's get back to the review. I mean, this is a nice, like, big Voyager Prime. Soundwave is, you know, a deluxe, but it just feels skinny. And this is one of those reasons where I'm like, I don't want this to be Soundwave. I want this to be, like, this would be a great generic Decepticon. Paint it purple, give it, like, a mono-eye, you know, visor head, get rid of the windshield piece, just make that, like, some chest armor, and then it would be great. But yeah, here's how they look together. And they do have some pretty good articulation. I guess we can give Optimus Prime his weapon. So he's got a 5mm peg on his Energon axe. You kind of want to turn his wrist in one direction or the other. You can put that axe around his fist like so. And then his gun, here's a complaint I have. This is too short. This 5mm peg could have been longer. As is, it does fit into his hand. But you can see, like, it's not a super tight connection. It really is barely, if we're looking on this side, it doesn't even come into his hand. It just sits in his, like, thumb hole. It's like he's holding the whole thing like this, which is weird. But that's a minor complaint. I mean, that is a fantastic Optimus Prime head sculpt. It's one of those things where it kind of almost makes me excited for the game because how good he looks, but the game's not going to be good. But he looks really nice. He's got some nicely painted blue eyes. I dig it. Very nice articulation in that neck. We do have 360 on the shoulder. It can go out plenty far. You do have bicep swivel. We've got a slightly, maybe perfectly 90 elbow bend. We do have wrist articulation, which I appreciate. We do have waist articulation. He can kick out plenty far. One problem with the backpack is the way it's plugged in, it constantly, if you're putting pressure, that's not dead center. It just wants to wiggle itself loose. But, you know, a minor complaint, I think. The Van Damme is just fine. The kick up is 90 degrees. The kick back runs into these grill parts, which is a little unfortunate, but it can go like 90-ish. He does have thigh swivel. He does have a knee bend, which if you break the sculpt, you can cheat out a deeper knee bend a little bit. He does have ankle tilt. So a pretty dynamically posable Optimus Prime here to kick butt and save sparks. I like it a lot. He does have an Energon gimmick, or not Energon, a Matrix gimmick. We can open up these windows here and we pop out our Matrix, which I feel like is remold or a reuse of an existing Matrix mold. This seems like it's a Matrix that we've seen before. It's got the standard 5mm peg, fits around the standard Matrix holder pieces there. It looks good. It all looks really good. And he looks, I mean, the backpack like is not that big a backpack. He looks pretty dang clean. This is if you wanted to get a Voyager Optimus Prime and you didn't want the Earthrise one, I'd almost recommend this. The only reason I wouldn't recommend this is because you have to get a Soundwave with it. So at $63, that's a lot to pay for a Voyager. But it's a really good Voyager Prime. I like it a lot. Soundwave as a toy is just fine. I mean, we've got what's a kind of fine Soundwave head sculpt. I don't love it. I don't love the like odd details in his mask piece, but he looks fine. He wiggles and all that stuff. The gun can obviously rotate and articulate. The shoulders go 360. They go out that far. He does have bicep swivel, although it's kind of tight. He does have an elbow bend. He does have he does have wrist articulation. It's just really tight, but it is there. He does have waist articulation, which is better than Bumblebee did. He can't do a full Van Damme. That's a little disappointing. And it's surprising because it feels like he should be able to. I'm not sure. It's this ridge piece that unnecessarily stops it. I don't know why that was sculpted there. He does have thigh swivel. He does have a deep knee bend. I appreciate that knee bend. He can kick up so high. He can not kick back. Again, disappointing. It's like... I don't know why this piece was sculpted. I guess maybe it had to be that way for transformation, but he kind of stops himself from kicking back, and he can go into a toe tilt, not a toe tilt, an ankle tilt. So like decently articulated, a little disappointing. For him, it's the backpack that's the biggest disappointing thing. I just don't love this design. And I really don't love it as Soundwave. Again, as a generic like Vehicon, I think it would have been really, really neat. But as Soundwave, it doesn't live up. It doesn't scream Soundwave to me other than the paint job. Now, in terms of comparisons, we've got Bumblebee and Optimus Prime right here. I'll say I like the way they look together. Again, Bumblebee's a little bigger than what I'd expect, but I think that size does work nicely. The style of the characters works well together. Bumblebee transforming him, I was reminded about his little shin auto transformation. I'm kind of disappointed that Soundwave doesn't have, something similar. Maybe not the same auto transformation, but some sort of auto transformation. And then we've got Starscream and Soundwave here. So you can see, Starscream and Optimus being firmly in the Voyager size class, with Soundwave and Bumblebee being deluxes. Although Soundwave being a little bigger than Bumblebee does help a little bit. But again, I think I would have preferred, like, if this was a 2-pack, give us, like, the Commanders, Optimus Prime and Starscream. I don't know, maybe in the game Megatron's not commanding the Decepticons. And then give us some generic troopers, an Auto Rooper and a Vehicon. I think if I like the toys enough that if they did a re-release and a repaint as like a white Auto Rooper and a purple Vehicon, I'd buy those. Optimus and Starscream are standouts. I think they're great Voyagers. If you can buy them by themselves from someone who bought the 2-pack, I think that for $35, maybe even like $40, great. Bumblebee and Soundwave are fine. I do want to do one quick check. So what's interesting, oh, right, that strikes again. So there we go. You can see kind of the problem the short handle presents. But Optimus Prime can use his effect piece, so it makes it a little more disappointing that Starscream couldn't. That Starscream, for whatever reason, his null rays were designed not to do it. The inconsistency of using these effect parts is a little annoying. But Optimus Prime and Soundwave, I think out of the 2-packs, I'd recommend this one more, just based on how good Optimus Prime is. Starscream and Bumblebee is pretty good, but I think for retail price, I'd recommend this one because of how nice Optimus Prime is. And then you get, a little Decepticon that you can rip that head off and make him generic yourself. As is It's a fun 2-pack. I'm kind of curious to see if we get any more. I don't imagine we will. We'll have to see what's going on with this game's development. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence, but the toys at least have been a lot of fun. And that'll be it for today's look at Transformers Reactivate Optimus Prime and Soundwave. Catch you all on the next one. Bye!